So my job every day is to make everyone live longer, right? Longevity is the next $1 trillion. So every day I wake up and then I'll think, why do people get sick, right? So I wanted to understand that conundrum. So I work with the World Economic Forum to understand why people actually want to live longer. So this is something that we are having problem right now. I mean, at least I am having problem with. If you look at this data, we are having more older people as compared to younger people. And older people, the reason why I have problem with them is that all these older people, they live longer, but not healthier. So they spend a lot of our money, our public spending, in public health care and so on, and they are lacking a lot of resources. And that is why, as a longevity scientist, I wanted to know more. If actually I want to make people live longer, was it actually worth it? So I have another problem with being a longevity scientist. I mean, I love being a longevity scientist. It's a sexy word. But another thing about making people live longer is that I only meet a certain, like probably 1% of a population who can afford this longevity treatment. But I don't see everyone, because longevity apparently is not for everyone. And that's the second question that I want to answer. How do we democratize longevity? And finally, the question that I want to discuss with everyone today is, why do we want to live longer if the planet is burning? Okay? So, by a show of hands, who actually want to live up to 90 years old, and who actually want to live up to 90 years old? Okay, I'll take it back. Who actually want to live to 90 years old, and you still have health, you still have sense of purpose, and you still have a lot of money? I see a lot more hands right now. Okay, good. So now, who actually believe that in the next 2 decades, the world is going to be a good place to grow old in? Okay, a little bit, a little bit less compared to the last one. So this is a question that was posed to me. So in April this year, I had a very successful address at the United Nations. And then one of my fellow delegates asked me, Daniel, walk me throughout your day-to-day work. You are here today fighting for climate change, but then you are also you're also studying how to make people live longer. Don't you think that it's a little bit contradictory if you know the planet is burning and you actually make people live longer? Do you think I have an answer for that? Not really. Okay, so I grew up in Ipoh. So sometimes the sky turns dull because of forest fire. Sometimes the heat is unbearable. And now I work and live in Singapore. So the heat is unbearable some of the days, and then that actually makes me rethink, what is longevity in the age of climate change? Do I really want to live longer? So scientists like myself has been asking, why do we age? How do we measure how fast we age? Can we slow it down? And to a point, we even ask ourselves, can we actually hack ourselves so that we become younger forever? Right? Have you guys heard about Brian Johnson? Have you guys heard about all the billionaires now is racing towards living forever? But then eventually, after many, many years of researching, I found out it actually comes back to the fundamentals. Your nutrition, your exercise, and your sleep. And if anyone watched the Blue Zones, you need a strong sense of purpose, and you also need a good, strong social connections. These are the sort of the secrets to long life. So in my lab in Singapore, I'm imagining 60 years old to be the new 40s, right? Where the final decades of your life actually disease-free, vibrant, and you are well connected. But then there's actually an assumption to that. In order for that to happen, my assumption is that I'm still going to have a stable food system, a breathable air, and a very, very stable climate. Like today, we can't imagine, the rain and everything to be suddenly like outpouring and so on. So what happened if these fundamentals collapse? And the climate change is actually not a distant threat. In fact, yesterday, my flight was severely delayed because of bad weather. So we can see that in Malaysia right now, flood has actually made some cities unlivable. There's actually landslides somewhere. There's actually drought. Everything is affecting our day-to-day life. And then the most vulnerable people are actually the elderly, the very people that longevity science is trying to help. They are more susceptible to this heat stress. They're more susceptible to stable food system, and eventually they are very, very dependent on any help that they can get if, let's say, any disaster strike, right? They couldn't run as fast as younger people, unfortunately. And my job is to make them run faster than the younger people. But do they really want to do that? So now I just want to invite everyone. So imagine a day that is very, very warm, that you don't feel like moving, you find it very, very hard to breathe. Imagine that day. Hold on to that thought, okay? Now imagine experiencing that at the age of 80 years old. It's difficult, isn't it? Right? So that's the reality of elderly people nowadays. They are actually facing these challenges, this threat of this climate change and so on. And let me ask you guys, do you really want to live up to 90 years old, eventually facing that? Right? Not really. So that is why I titled this talk as Living Longer in a Burning Planet. I wanted to give everyone when they meet me, they will ask me, Daniel, what is the secrets to live longer, and so on. And to be honest, you need to pay me in order for me to give you the secrets, right? But today I want to tell you guys 3 things that you can do so that you can get 2 things, a longer life and also a beautiful planet. The first one, let's start from your food. 30 to 34% of global emission is actually coming from our food. And that's huge. That's really huge. So fortunately, a diet that is plant-based and having a lot of fresh produce have actually lower carbon footprint, and it does both things. It protects your planet, it nourishes you, and that's, in fact, after many, many years of studying nutrition, is the real longevity diet, right? So, and then the second step that you can do is to reconnect with nature, and this is very important. A lot of people over here, I assume everyone is from Kuala Lumpur, or some of you guys from Singapore like me, enjoys being in the gym. But replace some of your gym days with a walk in the park. You know why? Because the moment you have a good connection with your nature, with your environment around you, outside of your building and so on, you feel more responsible to take care of it. And that's very important for you to find a why you need to live longer and also having a better place to live. And finally, remember I talk about social connection? Do not do it alone. Let's all do it together. You have to invite your family, your friends, your colleague, and everyone else to be in this journey together with you, right? Because the truth is, living longer in a burning planet is not just difficult. It's nearly impossible. And no one wants to be like that. And I think that is why a lot of billionaires right now are running away to Mars, because they know the planet is burning, even though Mars sometimes burns too. So that is why a lot of people need to understand that their connection with the planet, their connection with food, their connection with their environment is literally going to be the reason why they need to live longer. So the last set of imagination, I want everyone to again imagine when you are 80 years old. Are we still thriving? Are we still healthy? Are we still contributing? So now, with that thought, zoom out. What kind of planet you are standing in that vision? Thank you.